Good morning, Uncle Peter. Tell Minister Sillah that some weeks ago he said in this program that he did some findings and found that Alport should pay the dock workers $17 million. Can he also tell us what was the money for? Because the dock labor company pay us our bonuses, but imagine what we get in a year, they divide it and give it to us for the year 23-24. Before his recent travel, he ordered Alport and GPA to go back and return our payment where it was before. And he should report back to him before that Monday. But he traveled before that Monday, so can he tell us whether the order was implemented or not?
Yeah.
And then number 3, is he aware that on the 9th of September, our colleague Usman Jawara had an accident and lost 2 of his fingers? If it wasn't what we, the dock workers, contributed for him to show our sympathy, it would have been so painful for him to have treatment. Imagine Sillah working in a dangerous environment like port without risk allowances, no employment letter, climbing 5 to 6 container heights. Dock workers are not happy.
Well, let me start with the last part of his or her question. Because the port is such a sensitive area that to assume that you will work there without specific guarantees is news to me. But I will liaise with the MD of ports, Mr. Usman Jabate, and the manager of Alport, and also the Dock Workers Company Limited, because this is a limited liability company set up by the dock workers themselves, and the Gambia Ports Authority is a shareholder there. So it's like a private liability company, private limited company. So to assume that they will hire people without giving them letters of engagement, that is news to me. But I have to admit that, I may be the Minister of Works and Transport, but I cannot be aware of everything that is happening, especially in a private company in terms of their engagements. But I think this is a good opportunity to call them to know exactly how they engage the dock workers. That's number 1. Number 2, yes, if you hire people, especially the nature of the work of dock workers, there have to be safeguards, there have to be guarantees. And that is why government pays premium to the dock workers labor company to ensure that their social security benefits are there, to ensure that there are insurance for them. And for somebody to go to the port and then you are working as a dock worker, properly engaged by the dock workers company, and you are not insured, that is news to me. To the extent that you can get hurt or you get wounded and then there is no insurance for you, and that the environment where you are working in, especially the ports, did not look at your situation, that is very strange. But
well, it's news to you, it's
strange,
news to me. But will you look into it?
Yeah, of course, right away. When I go, I'm sure Mr. Jabate listens to this program religiously. Maybe he will send me the facts about this situation
before the end of the program.
Yeah, because every Monday I do have a meeting with them.
Yeah. And before you traveled recently, you gave an order actually, for something to be implemented.
Yes,
apparently,
yes, the 17 million that was paid months ago, and I think probably if he's not aware, he should ask his union. Yes, we.
What was this 17 million?
This was an area. It was a disputed payment area, which there was a kind of like dispute between Alport and the dock workers. Each was maintaining their ground. So I looked at the figures and I insisted that, okay, this is so marginal when it comes to the overall volume of what is earned at the port. So I told the concessionaire to pay, and they have paid. Now, a few weeks ago, yes, the text was right. They came to my office a whole delegation of dock workers and their executive, and they complained to me that they were seeing reduction in their wages. So I called a tripartite meeting with the GPA, sorry, the Gambia Ports Authority, the Alport management, and the dock workers themselves and their union management to look at the figures. Actually, there have been some issues with the calculations because it has been established that for the bulk cargo, what the dock workers company was billing Alport for is actually more than what they are charging the clientele. So that we had to resolve. Now, the other one has to do with the containerized cargo, where before, the model of charging is changed because this is a concession, and then they are using the best practice that is done around the world in terms of units. So we are now doing that discussion, and happily, when I came back, I received a lot of calls because I gave my number to the dock workers. So I received tons of calls and messages so that this matter has not been resolved still, and some even threatened to go on strike. So I called both the Gambia Ports Authority and the Alport on Saturday to my office, this past Saturday.
Yes.
And I told them to quickly resolve this. So yesterday, Monday, they had a whole day meeting, and MD Jobate called me on the phone to say that he thought now they have made some, breakthrough, and hopefully, they will come to brief me. Yesterday they came to brief me. I looked at the models, so I told them now they should go and now put on paper for me, what the actual figures are like, the turnaround against the revenue, and also all other charges, including the dock workers. And then we will sit with the dock workers and, constructively engage them and discuss this matter. Because as I said the last time, the overall interest of the government in this concession is not only about, bringing in efficiency in the port, but for the accrual benefits that should be enjoyed by Gambians. And really, if we have a critical part of the port that is complaining about this serious matter, we take it very, very, very seriously also.
I think the GPA MD has just texted in, but I have already opened this one. Let me just go through it. This is from Abdullah Abu Aisha Jallo from Sweden.
Yes.
Good morning, Peter and Ebrima. Can Sillah elaborate on the following? What was their role in the stadium renovation? If there was none, what is the next step after seeing wastefulness of the resources and still to no avail?
Well, our role is very critical in the overall stadium management, the ministry, I mean, because the contracting authority, which is the Ministry of Youth and Sports, actually is using the Ministry of Works as the consultants. So we serve as interface between the contractor and the ministry. Now, when the contractors raise their payment certificates, we verified against the work that has been done, and then it is cleared by the engineers and also the technicians, and then forwarded to the Ministry of Youth and Sport. We also look at the work scope, the scope of work that's supposed to be done, and then we liaise technically with the stadium management and CAF to ensure that we abide by those technical specifications. Ideally, it should have been that before some of those works were done, the critical elements of the issues that CAF mentioned were taken into consideration. But I think that was a big lesson that even our technicians learned, that it is not just any contractor that can do stadium renovation works. These have to be specified, qualified, and also certified stadium renovation contractors who should be able to do this type of work.
Yeah, Usman Jobate, apparently once we mentioned GPA,
yes,
he's not listening at the moment, but somebody must have alerted him.
Yes.
He's asking whether he could call into the program.
Yes,
saying,
please,
go ahead,
please.
call in and clarify whatever needs.
Okay, he just sent me a similar text. And
so good morning, Mr. Jobate.
Good morning, Uncle Peter, and good morning, my Honorable Minister, and to all your viewers and listeners.
Thank you. What do you want to clarify?
Actually, I'm on an online meeting about this, our concession monitoring, which we do every Tuesday.
Yes.
So I was not accessible to be able to follow the program, but one of my colleagues alerted me that Honorable Minister is making mention of my issues. But if I may crave your indulgence, unless there's a specific issue, I may want to maybe come over and give a more elaborate statement on what are the issues.
Oh, listen, okay. There was an accident at the port, and a dock worker lost 2 fingers. If it wasn't for the intervention of colleague, dockers, he might have just lost the fingers completely. Apparently, they helped him get the fingers reattached. And then there was an issue about 17 million and a lot of risks, facing dockers who have to climb he calls it 5-6 container highs, whatever language that means. So apparently, putting their lives in danger.
Well, yeah, on the first issue, it's unfortunate that the accident happened because these are some of the risks that go with the job. But there's an Injuries Compensation Act under the Social Security. And then as GPA and Airport, we have the necessary insurance that covers injury and the percentage defect or liability that is paid based on the impairment. It is only governed by law. So it's just a matter of procedure. But the dock labor company also is a private company now. And technically, they should carry out the insurance to take care of these workers. But these are all work in progress because we are under a transition now. There's a new concession operator. The port is no longer doing the operations. And there's a new private company called the dock labor company. But in the SLA that is signed between the parties, that is the port concessionaire and the provider of distributory services, which is the dock labor company, in which GPA is a 50% shareholder together with the union, there are provisions to carry out insurance, which is being worked on. So, but the workers will be adequately covered because we know the risky nature of the job. On the side of the 5 high that they are climbing, yeah, it's true that's the nature of the job, but the 17 million that has been claimed was areas that they were claiming that when the new SLA was brought in, there were differences in the wage calculation. But we managed to successfully engage Alport, and those monies have already been fully paid. The issue now is about the new rates that are applied per move, which is providing an incentive for higher productivity, but the net wages for the dock workers has reduced. That's their claim. But we have been constantly engaged day in, day out, to the extent that yesterday was the last of such meetings that we had, which was very successful. And there's a proposal that we are engaging Alport to accept. Once it is accepted, it will reverse the wages to their previous levels and provide new incentives for them to achieve higher productivity. Others are related to tariff issues, which are a little bit technical. We will need time to resolve those ones. But they have the understanding. By and large, they will be protected, and the concession is not here to disfavor any dock worker or any Gambian or GPA staff for that matter.
Well, if they have the understanding, why are they texting into the program and raising very critical issues?
Well, some of these things cannot go everywhere. Maybe it's the communication level, because when we are not dealing with the whole 554 dock workers that are in the union. Apparently, we meet with the union executives, the Alport, and even yesterday's meeting was attended by the vice chairman of the GPA board. From there, we were engaged with the minister. I mean, up to Saturday, to be more truthful, some of these are details that are not necessary. But what we know is we're acting with clear conscience and responsibility. Saturday was the last meeting we had with the honorable minister. And to be fair to him, these are operational matters. But if you see his involvement, it just shows that he's engaged and he is concerned and he wants to see these matters resolved. But technically, as a minister, he's not even required. He's there to just advise on policy matters. But if you see he's involved in operations, coming down to the ground, seeing what happens in the ferries, the shipyard, I mean, I revere him for the kind of commitment and engagement he has. But by and large, we're here to protect all of our workers, dock workers, casual laborers, GPS staff, and government stakeholders who have business in the port. Generally, the concession objective is to usher positive changes, and on the side of the operations and the investment, we're seeing some visible signs, but transition arrangements are usually difficult, but we'll manage it to the extent that the workers will not be put in a less than desirable situation as before the concession.
Also, what's happening to our half-day masjid? I mean, the minister is just saying that access will be, created, for Banjul or half-day Muslims to have access to their masjid. But there's going to be a second masjid built outside of the area given to the concessionaire. I mean, is that a way of eventually pushing everybody to this new one so that you can do whatever you want with the area on which the masjid currently sits?
Apparently, that is not the issue. The issue at hand is, to put it in its proper context, is that when government cabinet gave the decision to expropriate that part of half-day to be part of the port concession, the condition was that the half-day must remain. So we are respecting that cabinet decision. That's where the decision came from. Now, the clamor has been that once the new terminal is constructed, the mosque would be kind of boxed into the terminal. And to spatially utilize the area in an optimal way, the layout of the equipment, the layout of the terminal, depending on the equipment that the concessionaire intends to use, would not be amenable to having the mosque in the middle of the zone. So now the Banjul Muslim Committee has engaged through the Imam Ratib, and government decision was to maintain the mosque. So now Alport has been instructed also officially to create public access. So now we are trying to find the alignment that would create a thoroughfare that would allow public access. We're looking at the fence that borders the scanning machine and Hagan Street, those of us who are familiar with the Havda area, or either Lehman. But the concessionaire is opting for the closest route, that is along the former Wilberforce Street, to create that link through Zebra and then go into the mosque. But the decision has been made that public access will be created. That is one. The second masjid is the one that is currently at the Muslim High School. That one is being upgraded by the Alport so that it can be more convenient for use by the public. So apparently the mosque in Habdai will maintain and public access will be created, whilst the mosque in Muslim High School, which is a second mosque, both mosques are currently operating because they have different congregations that utilize the mosque for Jummah prayers mostly. But both mosques will be maintained. It's not that we are treating one in isolation or providing an option so that the Habdai mosque can be barred from public access. That is not the case. It is a government decision since 1993 for the expropriation of the Habdai properties and for operational convenience and the engagement with the community. It's something that a decision has been made to allow the mosque to stay and to grant the public access.
And just one final one, very quickly. Havdai, properties were bought from original owners of Havdai with the belief that everything was going to form part of the de facto port. But now we're hearing that, the concessionaire wants to use part of the land acquired for real estate, and original owners are being given first refusal options. And the worry is they might not have the money to buy back their property. So what happened to the original idea of using the whole of Afdai for port purposes only?
Okay, sorry, I have heard about some of those statements, but I think they are being taken out of context, maybe for lack of right information. What happens is the concession property, the landed area, still belongs to government. It is not ceded into the operation. The concessionaire is just granted right for use. So what we are envisaging is that once the operation moves to Sillah, after the first phase is completed, the whole area, which is about 23 hectares that is currently citing the port activity, would not be in need, as it were. We would not have need for the whole of the 23 hectares. So we have it in our plans, once we move to Sillah, to convert about 75% of that area back into real property for cruise terminal development. And the idea is that maybe original owners will begin with right of first refusal to buy back those properties so that they can maintain the family heritage. It's just a suggestion, but nothing is cast in stone. But the comfort the public needs to understand is that that land belongs to GPA and the government, and the concessionaire has no mandate to convert it into property development without the express consent of the GPA. This is a government decision, so that Banjul will be now reconverted into a livable city. So that's our plan, to make the city livable once more, once the activity transfers to Sillah. But this is under a government control. So that project for the real estate development is a government project, not the concessionaire's project. They have an opportunity to also invest in it because of the financial resources that may be at their disposal, but not that they are the ones turning the area into property development.
Usman, thank you very much for completely taking a program into a different direction. But yeah, your contribution has been crucial. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, is mine, Uncle Peter.
All right, we're back to you, Honorable Minister.
Yeah.
That I mean, he's taken a conversation in a different direction.
But very helpful, as I said before. I mean, the 17 million, as confirmed by the MD, has already been paid, and that the dock workers' engagement is ongoing. I was privy to this on Saturday. I summoned a meeting, and then I was fully briefed. In addition to the usual Monday meetings, every Monday meetings that I have with the concessionaire and the GPA, just to know that we are within the targets set by the government for this concession to deliver.
All right.
So,
I'm going to end with one from Dr. Nyambi Ture.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Doctor, for always following the program. I would like to congratulate the Honorable Minister for the road signages coming up on Bertil Harding Highway. However, I would like to suggest that the signs should be standardized in terms of the colors used.
Okay.
And if possible, reflective.
Yes.
All the signs in light green should be changed to the standard blue and white color for good contrast.
Thank you so much.
Blonde white instead of green.
Green, yeah. Thank you so much, Uncle Nyambi, and I can assure you that we'll act on this. Yeah.
And finally, Sillah?
Well, finally, when I came in, I did not greet your audience.
You did not?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, what happened to your manners?
I'm losing my broadcast, discipline.
UDP is worrying you.
Yeah, well, no. No, I saw some press statements, and also the interviews by my good elder brother, Mr. Mane, and
Larry
others.
Cisse is coming.
Okay, excellent.
Later this week.
Yeah, okay. So it's all really very interesting to read between the lines and then listen attentively to what.
So what did you read
saying.
Between the lines of what Mane was saying?
No, well, I saw the detailed manner in which they interrogated the audit reports.
Oh, okay. That's what I'll be talking to.
Yes,
about.
And I also listened keenly about what they think their policies are going to be. Not as persuasive, though. I keenly listened to it because...
would you admit if you were persuaded?
No, I wasn't, to be honest.
I'm saying, would you admit if you were? If what they said had persuaded you, would you openly admit on air?
Yes, I would, because, to be honest, when it comes to opinion-based discussions, it is important that those of us in government listen, because whatever the people in opposition say is to our benefit, either wrongly or rightly, because if they are quiet, the public and their followers will feel that probably they have no idea, they have nothing to say. But whatever they say they want to do, most of those things we are already doing. So the thing is, how do we do them better? So whatever they say is to our benefit.
Like stealing from their 5-point plan and
no, we did not steal. Already this was a government policy.
Centers and all these higher education, which is why they are giving praise to the higher education minister.
Already these were government policies. Implementation may be slower, but government has a very big foresight in coming up with policies that will better the lives of this country. Okay. And now when they critique those policies and programs and activities, some of us will listen, and we listen attentively to what they are saying, what they are leaving behind, and what they are driving at. And then we get the best out of that. So, we want to thank your listeners, your management, and also your staff for a very good job that you are doing. I have always tried to, run away from the media these days because I have a lot on my table because I'm no longer the Ebrima Sillah that I have been as Minister of Information. I always say that let us work and let our work speak for ourselves.
Okay, and you believe that your work is speaking for itself.
Excellent.
Fantastic, Sillah. Thank you very much for coming. Ebrima Sillah, the Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bësal mu fay.
What?
Bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Bësal mu fine. Wave. Your money is yours.